What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to start this one out by saying thank you to everybody who's been watching my videos so far, that have been dropping the likes, that have been sharing my videos. It's really been helping me start this whole thing out. I've only been at this for about roughly 4 weeks now, and I've started out the gate already. As of right now recording this, I've got 27 subscribers. You guys are awesome, and I want to keep that going. For all you guys that follow me on social media, I gave you guys two choices on what today's video was going to end up being. It's been 24 hours, the votes are in, and looks like you guys have decided. So here we are. I'm going to be showing you guys what's titled in the thumbnail, Figuring Out Robbie's Misfire. As you can hear, she's misfiring pretty good. So I'm going to come up here to the injectors. Well, first I tested the spark, getting spark out of all the spark plugs. And when I do number 2, I'm getting no change in how the motor's running compared to other cylinders. So we know there's an issue with number 2. So are we getting enough fuel? Well, we're going to test number 1. So we unplug number 1. And you can see the motor struggling to keep fuel in there, and she just shut off just now. Let's get her fired back up. I'll show you what she does with cylinder number 2. We know she runs like garbage with number 1 unplugged. So we unplug number 2. And you can see the motor's running absolutely no different with cap and rotor. Wires were pretty dusted, so we already went ahead and started off by changing out the cap, rotor, put new plugs and wires. I tested all the fuel injectors, and I found out that I've got a problem with fuel injector number 2. And don't know whether or not it's going to be the injector itself, or maybe I'm not getting a signal from the ECU. So I went ahead and made myself out of a little pigtail for a T9 bulb, like our corner light. I rigged up a LED bulb, and I'm going to use this as a injector noid tester light. And let me show you guys here. We're going to get this noid light rigged up. Unplug the injector that we're having an effect with. See, here was number 3 also. Number 2, you can see engine's got no change. I'm going to locate the striped wire, which is our power coming from the resistor box, which is the red wire with the black stripe on it. I'm going to hook up my positive end of my light to it. And then hook the ground side up to the ECU signal. I'm getting my injector pulse from the ECU. So now we know if there's a problem with injector number 2. Now that I know there's a problem with injector number 2, I'm going to go ahead and let this motor cool off, and I'm going to pull out the pull the fuel rail off, pull the injectors, test injector number 2, see if I got another one laying around here that I can throw in, and that should take care of this one's misfire. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll get back with you guys here in a few moments. Alright, so all we could get our hands on were a set of some H22 OBD2 USDM injectors. So we're going to have to do a little extra work to the CB to get these to work. So we're going to swap from OBD1 to OBD2 and be deleting the resistor box. And then for the resistor box, I've got an extra resistor box here that I can cut the pigtail off of with my cutters here. And I've got a wire nut and some silicone here to make it watertight when we're finished with the resistor box delete plug. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on making the resistor box delete plug and working on getting these injectors cleaned up. Then I will go ahead and pull the fuel rail and the old injectors out of the motor here and start getting ready to wire up the OBD2 pigtail that we got with the injectors over here. So I will go ahead and do that. So I kind of forgot to explain about the whole resistor box delete thing, what I'm doing to this car here. For those of you who don't understand the difference between the saturated and peak and hold injectors, these early 1990, mid 1990 Accords and Preludes use injectors that run on a 5-volt power signal instead of a 12-volt power signal. Peak and holds run 5 volts, and the saturated style run off a 12-volt signal. So in order to accomplish that, the car sends a 12-volt signal through one wire to the resistor box, and the resistor box takes that 12-volt signal and it drops it down to 5 volts and sends the 5 volts power signals out to your fuel injectors in the car. Now with the injectors that we're going to be running over here, those are 12-volt injectors, and since the car is wired up for a resistor box, what you end up doing is you end up taking your 12-volt signal wire here and just tying it all together with all your injector power signal, all your injector power wires, and you plug that into the pigtail that would initially be where your resistor box ends up to run the 12-volt injectors. So I've already got these wires stripped down, and I'll get it sealed up here. Now I got the plug wires are all twisted together. Got my wire nut twisted on the end of there, and then I've got some black ultra permatex sealant filled up inside here. Keep it nice and weather sealed. Alright, well, we got the injector plugs changed over to the OBD2 injectors. Are now put into the car. We're getting ready to fire up and check and make sure that this thing ain't misfiring no more. So with these set of OBD2 injectors in here, we now have one over here that's moved to number 3 is now gone bad. We've got little to no effect. Plug number 4, motor wants to die. Number 3, virtually no change. The one that we were having an issue with, number 2. That one's now working. Number 1, that one's working. Thankfully, I got a whole nother set of OBD2 injectors that I can pop one of these out and we'll get this thing going again here in a minute. Injector number 3, new one's been installed. She's running a hell of a lot smoother, no more misfires.
Sounds so healthy. Hell yeah.
Go take this thing for a test drive. Purring like a kitten. Definitely my first drive in Robbie's car since I built this motor for him. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this one. One more time, thank you everybody who's been watching these videos. Thank you for sharing. Most importantly, thank you guys for subscribing to this channel. I want to keep this thing growing. Next video, we'll be diving into Kyle's bottom end of his LS vtec engine. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to get into that one with you guys. Until then, peace out.